me to, you know, show that I'm still a world-class fighter even at my age.
Paulie, congratulations. Paulie, is this your biggest victory to date?
No, it's not my biggest victory, but it's a satisfying win. You know, I've had some good wins in my career. You know, a lot of times I've been with my back to the wall, and as far as my life expectancy at a world-class level has kind of been questioned. And there's been fights where I go into these fights and I need to win in order to remain at a world-class level. And I kind of always, you know, when my back is to the wall, I perform. You know, I've been in these kind of situations before where, I mean, realistically, I lost the Broner fight competitively, but 2 losses in a row would have kind of eliminated me from world-class, from the, you know, the names where people would mention the welterweights on a world-class level, you know? So I kind of had to get this win to maintain that world-class status publicly, in the public opinion at least. I've had wins like this before. I don't know, you know, I end up with my back to the wall where, you know, you're fighting for your life at a high level, and I won, you know? I mean, I remember the Juan Diaz fights, the Zinchenko fight, even one more Duke fight. I mean, I had lost the Cotto the year before. I mean, I was getting another title fight a year later. If I would have lost that title fight, I don't think I would have got another title fight until I was like 30 years old. You know, at that time I was 26, so you know I knew it was a back to the wall kind of fight there too. You know, so you know I kind of relish the pressure. I live for it. You know, I love big fights. You know, it's like I said, the win is bittersweet, but because it was that tonight. But I live for that pressure moment. You know, being a professional athlete and getting to perform on this kind of stage. When the pressure's on you, you know, when you're going to sleep at night and you're thinking about, you know, everything's on the line here, you know, and you got to perform, and then you do it, you know, it feels good.
Thank you.
Somewhere.
Congrats, Paulie and Team Malignaggi. 2 questions. One, did Zab bring what you expected him to bring, or maybe a little bit less? Did you maybe expect to see combos that never came, number 1, and then number 2, can you give us a technical assessment of what you did to get this win?
I felt Zab doesn't fight well going backwards. He's a big puncher. We all know he's a big puncher. He's a pretty good puncher. But he's a big puncher when he gets his forward momentum going. You know, you put Zab on his back foot, he's not punching as hard. He's not punching as confidently. So I felt like if I get that head movement, keep him missing, keep him guessing on which way I'm going, and keep throwing those sharp counters when he does want to get off, it'll make him hesitant. So I got that rhythm going from round 1, and you know, I never looked back. Even in round 12, I knew he was gonna come for the knockout. I said, if I can get on my bike right now, and I can try to survive this and still win the round, but that might put me at risk. It's gonna put him on his front foot, and he's gonna, you know, he may be able to land a lucky shot. So you know, I said, you know what, I'm gonna try to keep backing him up even in round 12. I'm gonna hold my ground. I'm confident in my head movement. By that point, I was also confident in the radar I had on his offense, and I kind of stood my ground around 12 too. You know, just to eliminate the possibility of him being able to load up a big shot the way he wanted to. And so, you know, the game plan worked perfectly. We had a great camp. I mean, my trainers, man, you know, they worked my ass off, man. I was out of shape when this camp started, because like I said, I didn't think I was fighting again. I mean, I was totally out of shape. I mean, I started with, I brought back, yeah, you're right, X. I brought back Orlando Carrasquillo on the pads. I worked with him in the amateurs. And my trainers, Eric Brown, the head trainer, and Vincent Calloway came, conditioning coach, you know, from LA. And you know, we got the ball rolling, and man, it was a great camp. I mean, we put in a lot of hard work every day, dedication, and you know, we got the job done.
Can you quickly explain how, for someone who doesn't understand, how someone who doesn't have incredible pop can keep someone backing up like you made him back up? How do you do that?
You're getting hit with shots you don't see coming. You're getting hit with shots you don't see coming, and they're sharp. You know, you don't. Gloves are 8 ounces, man. I mean, whether somebody can punch or not, the grown man hits you with 8-ounce gloves. Like, you know, the media's a funny. You know, the people in the media are funny when they talk about punching power, non-punching power. I'll put everybody in this room for a round with me with 8-ounce gloves, and I'll knock every single one of you out. Every single one, less than a round. Every single one, less than well, not I forgot X was behind me. But no, what I'm basically saying is 8-ounce gloves hurt, man. The grown man hits you with 8-ounce gloves. That's gonna hurt. So if you don't see those shots coming, the surprise element will make you gun shy. So when I'm sharp, you know, and we executed his game plan perfectly tonight. Sharp, keep him guessing, keep the counters sharp and shoot them. Show him in the counters, even when they weren't landing, as long as he was seeing those counters, that he knew I was live in front of him. It would keep him hesitant, and so it worked.
Paul, was the knockdown?
Hold on.
Hey, Paulie, congratulations, man. After the last fight, part of your frustration, which you were vocal about, was the Al Heyman connection to Adrian, and now it seems like you're connected with Al. Can you just talk about how that happened and the process of that?
You know, here's the thing. I see, back in the day, you used to always see fighters thanking Don King, and then, you know, when they would win fights, thank Don King, but then they always told me shit behind his back. I know Al's fighters. You know, I'm friendly with all the fighters, you know, including Al's fighters. Nobody ever complains about being with Al Heyman. They're all happy, publicly and privately. So it was something that, you know, when I had decided after the fight, you know what, I'm done. I just don't need this in my life. I don't want to deal with the frustration. When you get a call with an opportunity to work with a guy like that, you know, can eliminate those headaches and make things happen and get you the big fights. Listen, man, I was frustrated, but it didn't mean I didn't want to fight. I enjoy fighting. You know, I enjoy being a pro athlete. I just get frustrated with the things I don't control. You know what I mean? But if I can eliminate some of the headaches and just focus on my training and have a team around me that takes care of everything else, you know, it makes fighting a little bit more enjoyable. You know, and so it was kind of a no-brainer. You know, I went from not wanting to fight again to okay, let's give it a shot, and here we are. You know, and now with this win tonight, I'm happy I did it. You know, and you know, I got to thank Alan and Sam for that. You know, because if I didn't get that call, I don't think I would have fought here tonight.
Paulie, has the build-up for this fight as the King of Brooklyn, has it lived up to that for you? Now that you've gotten the win and you're here at the press conference, does it feel like you're truly the king after beating Zab today?
I mean, I guess that's for the fans to decide. I mean, the win was satisfying for sure. Not so much for the King of Brooklyn because, you know, Zab is a guy I have a lot of respect for. But it was just an important win because it was a guy against a guy who was still at a world-class level. And so it kept me relevant at a world-class level and it puts me in position for big fights. You know, when you're fighting at this level, every win is important because it leads to just bigger and better things. So, you know, it's not like I'm a prospect on the way up where you're just going on that climb. Every win at this level is a big deal. So, you know, the win means a lot. I don't, you know, the King of Brooklyn is, you know, some bragging rights, but in reality, the actual win of a fight of this magnitude, a nationally televised main event, you know, it can lead to a world title and a lot of other things, you know, so it's important.
Hey, Paulie,
you know what Paulie just said, and it's important, I'll say this in front of everybody. Tom Hauser and I was talking, and I said, what do you think about Zab Judah and Paulie? I've seen Paulie come up since he was a kid. I don't want to see him fight anymore. I'm going on the sub in Brooklyn and I'm going home. My lips to God's ear. Obviously, there's a lot of reporters in here going to say Bernard said, and I'm telling you, and he would tell you, you didn't see Tom Hauser, he's not in here. But to me, watching Paulie, he told you too? Knowing Paulie, from my nephew Demetrius Hopkins era, coming out of the Olympics and things, and his back against the wall, especially with that bitter taste in his mouth, I told Tom I was surprised. I said, you going on the sub, you going home? I don't want to see him fight. He missed out. He missed out on a great performance by this man. I just want to get that on record, and I'm glad that you...
Yeah, but he'll admit to it too.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What is his loss?
Hey, Paulie, when I spoke to you before, you know, at the press conference, the final press conference, you said that, you know, I asked you about Zab's southpaw style, and you said you never, what I found intriguing was that you said you never lost against a southpaw, either amateur or professional. Now, there's something you said that you weren't going to give it away because he was having his fight coming up. So you said that there's something you do against southpaws that makes you successful against them.
I adjust my stance a little bit with southpaws. It kind of eliminates their left hand. You know, I stand a little bit more in a straight line as opposed to, like with a right-hander, you're a little more squared off. You know, you never totally work with a left-hander. I try to keep, I'm almost at a straight line. And it actually started happening when I hurt my right hand. I started standing like that even against right-handers because I couldn't throw the right hand anyway, so I tried to make myself as small a target as possible. Then, you know, I started realizing southpaws couldn't land a left hand because I was almost in a direct line. I would just have to make small moves, and they would miss the left hand totally. So it just a small adjustment that you know makes me not take any left hands or rarely any left hands. You know, and you take away a southpaw's left hand, you know, you have the battle you won already. You know, so obviously there's reflexes involved, and my jab is, you know, still has to work. But you know, that was just a small adjustment I made. I just adjust my stance a little bit with southpaws.
Paulie, did the stance have something to do with the knockdown also?
You know, it's funny. The knockdown was just my leg was on the inside of his. So you know, when you're fighting a southpaw, you're trying to spin out a lot of times. And I literally, when he threw that left hand, I made this move to get out, and I was trying to finish spinning out the other way. But his foot was on the outside of mine. So as I spun out, yeah, the left hand touched me, but it grazed me. The reason I fell was because of his foot being in the way. So as I was spinning, his foot was in the way. So I fell, I tripped over his foot. It's something that happens. But you know, it was a punch did land. So I guess you gotta call it a knockdown. But I was not hurt at all. I mean, it was legitimately, like, I was actually mad because I'm like, man, I just had started off on the right foot with that good first round, and now I just gave him a 10-8 round. So you know, I was mad. I was frustrated about that. But you know, I got back on my focus, and you know, I kept sticking to the plan.
Let's take one more question and that's it, then there's the rest. What do you got?
Paulie, first, congratulations on a masterful performance. Picking up on where you just left off, what was your thought process after that, quote, knockdown?
Shit, I just gave him a 10-8 round, man. Then I won the first round, and now he just took the lead on the cards because now he's gonna get a 2-point round. On top of that, I felt like I did a good job taking away all the confidence from him in round one. I felt like he ended round one, and he knew, like, shit, this is a tough fight. And I wanted to keep working and breaking him mentally off that. And now with the knockdown, there was a possibility that, man, this guy might gain some confidence, and you know, this fight could, you know, I stayed focused. I just said stick to the plan, and you know, see how he comes out. You know, I was very confident in my ability to read his offense and counter and shoot the sharp counters, even if they didn't land. The fact that I would kept shooting them out off his jab and off whatever he was doing. Some landed, some didn't, but it kept him domesticated, so to speak, and so that worked.
Hi, Paulie. I noticed that during the fight, there were times where you and Zab exchanged a few words during the action. Do you remember any things that you said, particularly there was an exchange at the end of round 9, I think, where you guys started talking back and forth? Do you remember anything that you said?
Yeah, he was just saying Brooklyn or something, like trying to pump himself up, or Brownsville or something, pump himself up. And then a couple of times we were talking about the fouls. Like he was saying, like, you know, when I would push him down, he would complain, and I'd be like, yo, don't come in with your head, or you know, I got headbutted, and you know, we were just complaining to each other about the fouls. And then I think when I clipped him one time, and he said it didn't hurt, and I was like, that's all right. I was like, your knockdown wasn't a knockdown either. You know? So it was just like trash talking, but it wasn't anything serious.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all. Done.